We're going to look at the hair shader now. And before we do that, there's a little point I wanted to mention. You can see in this scene here, we have a character with fairly dense hair. But on the top of the head, you can see we're seeing the scalp through the hair. And what we could do, obviously, is increase the amount of hair. But that also increases the render time pretty dramatically. So what you want to do a lot of cases, and this applies equally to full creatures or local effects like the scalp or a beard, is actually texture the underlying surface with hair. And that'll actually save you from having to use a lot of hair for actually rendering the scene. So I actually have a clip already in the scene that has the hair texture on it. So I'll just switch to that. And there you can see the look is a lot more convincing, and we're protected from actually going through and seeing the scalp that way. So just a little tip there. So yeah, about the hair shader. Basically, as we mentioned in the overview section, there's two types of hair shaders available. We've got the geometry shader and the volume shader. And you can access those through this option here in the hair PPG. So the actual two shaders are quite different. The big difference really is geometry shader actually builds a piece of geometry, a flat ribbon-like sheet for each hair, whereas volume uses obviously a volume approach, and there's actually no geometry involved. So some of the advantages are that the geometry works with shadow maps and volume doesn't. And as we'd mentioned in the optimization section, hair with shadow maps is the way to go because there's quite a bit of performance increase when using shadow maps with hair over normal ray traced lights. And the overall performance improvement you'll see with geometry with shadows, shadow maps versus volume with ray traced shadows is substantial. So based on the mode you're selecting, the actual hair shader used will be the same one. So we've got this hair renderer shader node, and basically it's a monolithic shader that has both the volume and geometry shading capabilities within it. So actually what we're going to do is just go into more detail onto the actual shader settings.